Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome back to this McLaren career on Motorsport Manager. Today we're on with part 7. We've got the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix coming up today. It's going to be sunny all the way throughout, a little bit of cloud in qualifying. So hopefully there's going to be no rain in qualifying to sort of mess up where the AI finishes, as the AI doesn't seem to handle rain too well in qualifying. They come out when it's raining instead of waiting on for a dry track. So hopefully that's not going to happen today. Obviously we do have the track name mod on this game. It doesn't update the flag, so we've got the Bahrain flag here for Abu Dhabi as the Abu Dhabi and the Sakhir Grand Prix. They are reversed in the game, in the base game, so the flags are actually a little bit wrong at the moment, as they are for the Monaco Grand Prix. That still does have the South African flag as well. For what it's Cape Town in the vanilla game. So what we've actually got today, we've actually just had a new suspension being built recently. We've been working on the reliability of it. Now we can actually take it off here, so we're going to put it in the car. I think we give the best suspension to Mick Schumacher usually, so yes we do. So Schumacher's going to get the best suspension. It is actually the best one in the game now. We've actually improved, and then Max gets the second best one. So delighted, happy. Max is really happy with his car. Does this actually give us the best car overall? Yes, it does. It gives us the best car. So I think this is the first time in the game that we're heading into a Grand Prix with the best overall car. We've had the best overall car before, but before we've got to a Grand Prix, one of the other teams has managed to push out an update and get back ahead of us. It's a continual race of pushing upgrades out in this game at the moment, in that Ferrari and Mercedes are keeping pace with us. We're all pretty evenly matched, so it can go either way. We've had the best parts in quite a few areas for some time. The only area is the brakes, which of course we are building, so we possibly be best overall there. Suspension, before this new part that we put in, we were third best overall, so just about 20 points is enough to move you from third to first at the moment. So between us, the Ferrari and the Mercedes, we're all pretty evenly matched at the moment. So what we're doing at the moment now is we can actually get a bit more done in this. So we're just going to concentrate on getting all of these parts that we've got that are really good at the moment, our best parts. We've still got actual room to move in them. We've got 20 points in some of them. We've got 10 points to move in some of them, 15 there, almost 19 there. And obviously with the suspension we've got almost, what's that, 36 points to move there. So a lot of room to manoeuvre still. We're still building the HQ so we can leave McLaren in a really good position for next season when we possibly take over Haas. I know we've had some love for Force India and other cars, but Haas is a team I'm interested in. They are 10th overall in every area. They've got the 10th overall rated car. They're bottom with the drivers. The headquarters are the worst overall. Renault's headquarters are 9th at the moment though as well, which seems pretty strange for them being a factory team. I don't know why they start off with such a low base for the headquarters, but Renault 6th overall. Where is the Renault car rated? 7th. I don't think Renault are that far behind. I do really want a challenge for the next season. So Haas, even if we have to drop down to GP2, or yeah, it's called GP2 in this game still. It hasn't actually changed to F2. So if we actually drop down to GP2, then we've got quite a big challenge to try to come back up. Although it should be pretty easy coming back up, because it's just whoever usually has the better drivers in GP2 in this game, because everything is spec in GP2. Sponsorships, we do have this. We didn't actually get any sponsorship offers through for some reason. I don't know why, but anyway, we've got a vote coming up as well, which is a change in the point system just for the top 5, which we don't really want that to happen, because if we had that happen and then we move to Haas, and even if we're in GP2 and then come back, it's possibly still going to be the same, and it would be a long time before we're actually going to get points. So we're only gonna do one vote against. We've got Red Bull and Williams and Co voting against. Obviously Mercedes, Ferrari are voting for it. Yeah, so let's just see what goes here. We got McLaren voting against. We got Toto Wolff from Mercedes voting against. We got Arriva Bene from Ferrari, Horner against. Right, so it's gonna be pretty close here. Force India go against. Right, so it looks no. Sauber go for. Sauber go for it for some reason. Renault abstain and against. So yeah, it doesn't look like it's coming in. Haas vote against, obviously. Right, so I'm glad that didn't actually go through. So we've actually just got a quick data skip here. So we do have the brakes build finished now. The brakes are up. We can get them to a 1228. So what does that put us at now for brakes? Overall, best in every category. Obviously, it doesn't say it at the moment because we can't actually put it in the car at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and work on the reliability of this. So then hopefully it is ready for the next race. So where are we with this 1192? Okay, it is in purple, so it's the best rated part in the game. we'll work on the performance as well. But what we won 8 days after the race, 22 days till the German Grand Prix. So we'll do that and get it over and done with, and then we can just concentrate on getting all these parts up. We might be able to get all these parts if we concentrate. 19 days. So we're going to be able to get all of this work done in time for the Nürburgring. So hopefully we're going to be really far ahead by the time we get to Germany. Ferrari at the moment are pretty close to us. Sebastian Vettel giving us a little bit of trouble. Nothing that we can't deal with at the moment, because we've been able to get Max a win in 5 of the races. The only one that he didn't win, Bahrain, obviously with the Abu Dhabi flag, the UAE flag. He crashed out here and Mick Schumacher went on to take that race. Mick Schumacher's been doing well himself, but Max has been dominating this season. Hopefully we can get another good result with him here at Abu Dhabi. We're going to accept the Shell V-Power this time. Hopefully the car's good enough. Last time we just missed out in qualifying. Sebastian Vettel just beat us to pole. As we know, everyone's delighted and happy. So we're going to jump into practice and qualifying now. As we usually do, we're going to run them off camera, and we'll be back in a moment to go through the grid. So something a little bit different today. I didn't actually turn my microphone back on after practice and qualifying, so I didn't actually have any audio that I'd recorded for the race. But anyway, we'll get into it. Max Verstappen, we see, he wasn't in pole position. He was a lot quicker than the other cars, but we actually lost ground from the start of the race. As you can see, he dropped down to 3rd place. Mick Schumacher actually dropped back to 5th place as well. It took a while for Max Verstappen to sort of get back into the race. As we can see, he starts dropping behind pretty early on here. He can't actually keep up with Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel for whatever reason. And even though we were pushing all out, they seem to be pushing all out. As we can see here, he dropped to about 5 seconds behind Sebastian Vettel. Vettel was actually eking out a nice little bit of a gap for himself. Kimi Raikkonen was about 2 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen as well. Mick Schumacher, meanwhile, got back into 4th place. We were conserving him a little bit more because we didn't want him challenging with Max Verstappen. We didn't want any incidents between our 2 teammates. And then Mick Schumacher had to come into the pits a little bit earlier than Max Verstappen. As we know, he can't get his tyres to go as long as Max Verstappen. Nico Hülkenberg was threatening to come in. Hülkenberg had dropped off by this point pretty shockingly. I don't know what had actually happened to him. He turned down his tyres, but for some reason we slowed right down. As you can see, Sebastian Vettel is still a long way in front at this point in the Grand Prix, at which point we now need to set Sebastian Vettel up for his pit stop. This race, there's only 17 laps at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We can do this race really comfortably on a full race on the soft tyres we were able to do. So we came in, we were 2nd place at this point in the race. We will just then try to push out, just try to get in. And we can see Sebastian Vettel was going an extra lap, which possibly worked to his detriment here, because look, we managed to get back out into 3rd place. We didn't actually lose that much ground. Back out behind Lewis Hamilton. Just try to decide what we wanted to do with the tyres, whether we wanted to try get a little bit closer to Vettel, because we know he would be going slow, whether we could make that undercut work. We knew he was 6 seconds in front at this point. Meanwhile, Mick Schumacher down in 8th place, still struggling, being held up at the moment by Valtteri Bottas in the Sauber. And there we see him make the actual move just on Bottas and Perez as well. Perez was there, I can't remember, I didn't actually see that actually in the actual race. But there we see Hamilton is going to come into the pits this lap, which is going to release Verstappen. Vettel as well was coming into the pits on this lap. He's quite a bit further down the field, but we've done a good job in actually catching up to him. 13 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but as you can see, the Abu Dhabi pit lane, it is pretty short. But Vettel, he looked to, I don't know if it was a mistake in the pits why he was in so long, but we came out, and the effect of having the softer tyres, the fresher tyres, we can see Vettel actually comes out behind his teammate Antonio Giovinazzi, 5 seconds behind Verstappen. So he lost like 11 seconds from us pitting that extra lap for the extra lap in front. He lost 11 seconds, which is a lot of time. Moving on a few laps, Schumacher, we've just set him up for his pit stop. What we're going to try and do is, his tyres are running pretty low, as we know he cannot go as far as Max Verstappen does. What we try to do is we try to get the undercut working on Giovinazzi and Hülkenberg, hoping that that would work. We're a little bit too far off Sebastian Vettel to try to think about getting Schumacher to that point, but only about 2.5 seconds to Giovinazzi. If we can get the fresher pair of soft tyres on, then that is what we were working for. As we can see, he gets into the pit stops. We've got no mistakes on the pit stop. He comes back out of the race. He went into the pits in 5th place. He managed to get back out in 5th place behind Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg pitted on the same lap Unfortunately for us, we were going to try and make the undercut work on him as well. We just had to make it try and work for Giovinazzi and for Hamilton, who had got in front, but we were only just a tiny little bit behind Hamilton at this point. Hamilton had only done one pit stop and he's only just in front of us. Giovinazzi, though, we can see the gap is only about 11 seconds. 11 seconds or so, and he's actually slowing down a little bit on the medium tyres, so it did actually work out for us in the end. But back to Max. Max is by far and away leading this race comfortably, 10 seconds ahead of Giovinazzi. A lot of time. So we can see we just skipped ahead a tiny little bit. We see Max Verstappen is now set up for his pit stop. He's possibly going to be in and out easily in front, because we know Giovinazzi is coming to the pits. We can see Giovinazzi, there we go, he's set up for his pit stop. Max Verstappen is in the pits, a decent pit stop again, once again for him. No mistakes in this race, a lot different to earlier seasons. And there we see Schumacher flies past it. It looks like Giovinazzi had a mistake in the pits here, or possibly not. Maybe that's what the sort of distance that we would have been hoping for with the undercut, him being out on the slower medium tyres. Look, we can see Giovinazzi comes out of the pit 6 seconds behind Schumacher. So what we just had now is the question of whether we could chase down Nico Hülkenberg in his Mercedes. As we can see, he's got his tyres are a lot worse off than what we had, and only 2 seconds behind. Just try to use the boost a little bit to try and catch him up, see if we could do it, try and push the car all out. We know his tyres are going to run out towards the end of the race, 4 laps or so to go, try to catch him. So we've moved ahead a quick lap. We see we're just there lapping, that's Marcus Ericsson in the Haas that's run out of fuel. We see we managed to catch Schumacher up, and then we managed to get him past Nico Hülkenberg. Then we tried to push Max Verstappen all out from this point forward, try to get him the quickest lap of the race. It didn't quite work out for him, but easily we got Schumacher past Nico Hülkenberg, and we saw Nico Hülkenberg just drop off then, off a cliff. His tyres weren't gone. I don't know what he did. I don't know if he just turned the car fully down to low mode, whether he'd been pushing, and I think he must have got really low on fuel to the point where he needed to go into low mode. I think that's what was the problem with him. But here we go, we were just trying to set Max Verstappen the quickest lap. He wasn't actually even setting his quickest lap of the race, pushing the car all out and using 100% of the boost over a full lap. Couldn't quite get him the fastest lap of the race. See, we couldn't even get him his quickest lap of the race. I'm guessing that's because we had almost 3 laps of fuel in the car. I'm guessing at some point when he was low on fuel for one of the other laps, that's when he set his quickest lap. Or maybe it's when he actually came out of the pits, because we do pit before the start finish line, and then because we cut some of the track out, you can actually set your quickest lap on the out lap. Maybe that is why. But from this point on, a couple of laps to go, Schumacher, Max Verstappen really comfortable, just eking away. You can see Mick Schumacher's got a 4.5 second gap now over Nico Hülkenberg, and that is the way it stayed until the finish. Schumacher staying ahead of Hülkenberg. We've just followed Max Verstappen around the rest of the track. We see him there, that is lapping Esteban Ocon in the Force India. Obviously Force India, the team we were battling with 2 seasons ago, that we were actually struggling at one point to keep up with. Now we're so far in front of them. And there we go, we see Max Verstappen come across the line in first place. Mick Schumacher a little bit further behind. He comes around, an excellent race for him. Absolutely brilliant race for Mick Schumacher, really, to do what he did in getting past Nico Hülkenberg. Comes across the line in second. Then we had Hülkenberg third, Giovinazzi fourth, Sergio Perez a little bit further down the order in 5th place, a little bit further behind on the track. And 6th place, Lewis Hamilton, 7th Bottas, 8th Van Dorn, 9th Vettel, and then in 10th, Daniel Ricciardo. An absolute brilliant race for us. That meant Max Verstappen extended his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship. Mick Schumacher as well in 2nd place, pulling out a little bit of a gap over Nico Hülkenberg. Sebastian Vettel still struggling in 5th place. Sergio Perez actually moving above him here by 1 point. That looks like, yes, 57 to Vettel's 56. Then we got Lewis all the way down in 8th. Meanwhile, in the Constructors, we're leading by 146 points. Absolutely brilliant. Ferrari managing to get themselves back into 3rd place. It's still a long way behind. Red Bull sort of challenging with Red Bull at the moment. Mercedes a little bit above Ferrari, but still nowhere near us. So I think it's in the bag at the moment. Safe to say that we've got the championship pretty much sewn up at this early part of the season. And then we just sort of finished off. We're going to go on to building the last 2 iterations of the engine. Because we know, look at this, we can actually get plus 25 to max, plus 15 to max and a plus 20, minus 20 to max, plus 40 and overall 20, and then this one of plus 40, which gives us a 1360, which is a lot better than the engine we've got at the moment. And this doesn't actually have any risky parts in it, even though it is an epic part, which is pretty unusual. And then we're going to try and build, as you can see, hovering the mouse there over the as a random legendary component. There is some parts in there, plus 90, another plus 40 to max, or a plus 60 reliability. So we're either going to be able to get an engine that is an absolute beast if we can get that plus 90 into the car, a little bit better off with the plus 40 to max, or we can have another engine ready to go once that legendary engine has been built, that is ready to go with the plus 6% reliability. So worst case off, we're going to have two really good engines that are about the same. Best case scenario, you're going to have one absolutely beast of an engine, so we're going to be able to see what that does at the end of the season. But anyway, that is it for this episode. Unfortunately, a shame about the audio, so we've cut some of the race out. Couldn't be well, it could have been avoided if I'd have actually turned the microphone back on. But we do have the best car overall in every category. We've got the Nürburgring Grand Prix coming up next time. Going to be an exciting race. But anyway, I'm off to watch qualifying. I've actually recorded this episode whilst qualifying for this weekend's Grand Prix has been on, so I'm going to go watch that now, off record, catch up with that. So anyway, everyone enjoy the Grand Prix weekend coming up this weekend. I hope everyone enjoys the race. Red Bull looking really strong. I don't know what they're going to actually do in qualifying. Ricciardo seemingly had a few problems with his car before then. But anyway, that is it for this video. Hit subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, all the usual razzmatazz. But until next time, I'll see you down the road in Nürburgring for the German Grand Prix, and goodbye.